Hello everybody and welcome to This Old Knit episode 10. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry, and I'm also on Pinterest, and I also have a blog at thisoldknit.blogspot.com. I would love for you to friend me, send me a private message, or join us on our Ravelry group, and you can find that by searching This Old Knit. There's actually like a picture of my nook, which is where I am today, with a kind of green chair and a blanket draped across it. I haven't put the name of the group on there yet, but if you see that, you know you're in the right place. So I'm doing a slightly different setup today. I'm using my regular camera because the camera that's on my laptop seems to really mess up the colors, and there aren't any settings on it to change the lighting from what I believe would be the tungsten setting to natural light setting. So I thought maybe I'd try my normal camera. So I have a Canon PowerShot ST950 IS. It's an older camera. My husband and I bought it before we moved to Ohio, actually, so we've had it since 2008, but it does a good job, so we'll see. The only thing I'm worried about is the sound, because it has an onboard microphone, but I don't have a separate mic to plug into it. It does have a microphone jack, so if this seems to work, then I will maybe look at getting one, because it would be useful. I also have it kind of propped up on a basket, so I've been wanting to get a little tripod for it for a while, one of the Gorilla Pods. They're like really small ones that you can bend legs on. So this might be the kick in the pants I needed to go and get one. So anyway, I apologize, I'm saying a lot. And I also will be clearing my throat quite a bit. If you watched last week's episode when we went camping and I had a bit of a head cold, it has continued all of this week, and now we have really high tree pollen count, which is the thing that I am allergic to. So I've been dealing with that all this week, and my voice kind of goes in and out. But the kids are both asleep, and I thought it was a good chance to do a podcast and try out this new setup because I've been wanting to. So we'll see what happens. I might have to switch out my SD card halfway through because I have a 3 gig SD card. I have 2 of those, but I don't know how much video they actually hold because I try to take really small increments of video, usually just something if the kids are doing something silly or whatever. So I have gotten quite a bit of different projects worked on this week, and so I will start out with showing you those. And if I don't have stuff on camera, sorry about that, I'm still getting, like I said, getting used to my setup. Oh no, and I forgot an FO. So when I switch cards, I will show my socks. I did finish my zigzagular socks, and you won't have to see them again, which is probably great because I don't finish things very often, so my podcast is probably kind of boring actually as far as FOs go, because you're going to just keep seeing the same thing week after week after week. Sorry. But since I finished those, I did cast on something new. I'm going to do these for Melinda, who's Yarnder Woman. Her Cal, the pop culture Cal, she said pick something that has some kind of pop culture reference, either the pattern or the yarn. And so I went with the pattern name having the pop culture reference. So these are Hermione's Everyday Socks, which is obviously a Harry Potter reference. And here's what I have so far. Hopefully you can see it. I'm using the Vesper sock yarn in the Rainbow Love colorway. This was gifted to me in a package last year, which was a rainbow swap package from the Itty Bitty Knits group by Greg, who is Knitting Daddy on Ravelry. And it's actually a light fingering weight yarn. So I started out knitting it on my normal sock needles, and I thought it was too loose. Even with these, I think it might be a little bit loose. but I switched over to 2.5 millimeter needles, which I think are US 1.5, and it seems to be fine. So that's what these are. I don't usually magic loop, but I had it on Knit Picks needles, and now that I've been knitting with sock rockets for a while, I really don't care for my Knit Picks needles. I mostly have them in the sock sizes. I still like my interchangeable set, so my mom got me an interchangeable set a couple years ago as a Christmas gift, and I use those all the time. But for the sock sizes, I don't like their new cables at all. They're not nice and they're not flexible, and they pull out of the cable all the time. Like, I've had multiple sets do that, and while Knit Picks will replace them if you call them, I had 3 pairs in a row do that, and they actually started questioning me when I called customer service. They said, really? Like, you had another set pull out of the cables? And I was like, yeah, do you want me to send them back to you? Because they usually don't ask you to send them back. And she was like, no, I'll send you another pair. So I was kind of done with them at that point, because, you know, it wasn't my fault. They're poor quality control at this point. So I usually don't say bad things about people's products, but I have not been happy since they've changed over to the different kind of cable they're using. So anyway, I went to my local yarn store to get a set of Addy sock rackets, because, you know, I do the 2 circs, and they had one in the 24-inch cable length, which is the size I prefer for socks. So they also had a 40, so I just went ahead and got a 40 because I don't use US ones very often, so I was like, I can magic loop. But I like those so far. The pattern is very easy. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I think they're turning out really nice. And I love the colors. They're super saturated. So hopefully those come out better on this camera than they did on my webcam. So there's the hank. I'll bring it back here because it wasn't zooming very well. But it's really fun. They're really fun to work on. So that is my first new whip. And then I dug out a really old whip. And I think I showed this to you guys on a previous podcast, but I had been working on the Adult Spring Garden Tee by Alana Dacos. And that is what it looks like. And I was doing it in the Rowan Panama, which is a cotton, linen, and I believe a bit of viscose. It's a chain yarn. It's really nice yarn. It drapes very pretty, and it doesn't hurt my hands to knit with, which is nice, because a lot of cotton yarns do, but this one is very nice. I like it. So I made a lot of progress on this over the last week. So you can see, like, it's about down to midway on my torso, and I think the camera only sees like my head, but there it is. So I did try it on. It is fitting beautifully. I'm super happy with the fit. So I really want to get this done because I'd like to wear it as the weather starts getting warmer. And I think it'll be a really pretty top that I can wear to work with a skirt or wear with jeans. So I'm really excited about finishing this guy. It also has this really pretty detail on the sleeves, which you work it, it's top down, so you work it as a raglan, and then you put those on hold, and then you come back and finish those lace sleeves later. So I made one of these for Maegwin, and she grew out of hers before I finished mine, obviously, but I got enough of the yarn in a blue color. Her original one was purple, but when I went back to the store, my local yarn store, they were getting rid of this yarn. I think either she wasn't carrying it anymore or she stopped carrying it because we were getting into winter time. So they tend to clean out their season's yarns and put them in the sale area. as we move into a different season. So they didn't have enough purple to make a size up for Maegwin, but they had this really pretty kind of dusty blue color, which would really set her eye color off. So once I finish mine, then I will knit hers, so we can have the matching shirts, because she really has been asking me a lot about making matching shirts or matching sweaters. And this one will be a nice easy one for me to do, and it looked really cute on her before. So that is my adult spring garden tee, and I'm really enjoying it. So I finished the ball that was on there. I joined a new ball. Here's what I've got of that. The colors are not named. I think this one is number 310. Very creative, Rowan. They probably are named on color cards, but they aren't named on the ball. So that is that. And then the last thing that I worked on, besides my zagular socks, which I will go get in a moment, was my blanket. And I kind of shoved everything in a bag, so I apologize. I'm having to get stuff out because it's all in a heap. So there's my blanket. Oops. And I did not, oh, yep, I did put a marker in. So there's my marker. So I went up a little bit and to a mitered corner. I did not get very much done on it since I podcasted last. Obviously, because I finished a pair of socks and got quite a lot done on my sweater. So my blanket did not get a lot of love this week, but that's okay. It doesn't have to get love every week. Selfish blanket, you don't get all the love. Okay, so funny story. You will notice the lack of the small things sweater being in this pile of whips, and there's a reason for that. You remember last week I was talking about that I saw this weird like ridge where kind of every other row I was seeing like a dent, and I didn't understand why it was doing that because my stockinette doesn't usually do that. So last night I was looking for, no, it was 2 nights ago. So I wanted to try on my adult spring garden tee. And so I took my Addy clicks and I was joining together like the large cables. So I have a 40-inch cable and then I think a 36-inch cable that came with it. And then there's a little metal joiner thing so you can make it all be one big huge one. So I wanted to do that and then kind of magic loop it on so that I could easily try on the sweater and then just knit it back off onto a smaller one because I'm using just one circ and just going around and around. So I am working it on size 6 needles, and I pulled out one size 6 needle and then I was like, oh no, where's my other size 6 needle? And I noticed that I had 2 needles missing. One size 6 and one size 7 needle. Weird, thought I. And then I remembered I had one other project going that had my Addy clicks in it, and it was my small thing sweater. So I thought for a second, and then it kind of clicked. Oh, yeah, that's why I had those weird ridges, because I was working it in 2 different size needles. So I had snapped a size 6 on one end and a size 7 on the other end. So when I was knitting one way, it was big enough, and then when I was knitting back the other way, it was smaller. This is why I was getting those ridges. It also explains why when I was knitting back with the bigger needle, I felt like it was so tight and I was really fighting with it. And I thought, what am I doing? Am I really tightening up all my stitches? No. I was knitting it at different gauges, obviously, because I had 2 different needles on it. So, boys and girls, use your needle gauge and check your needles before you put them on your project. The worst thing is that the Addy clicks actually have the needle size printed on them. So there's really no excuse for doing it. So anyway, that got frogged, and we shall never speak of it again. But I did find some better green yarn. I just wasn't loving that yarn. Like I said, that project was fated to be frogged, I think. Excuse me while I take a drink. And I have to sit this on the tiny window ledge up here. So you have to be really careful putting it down. So it's going to take me a minute whenever I take a drink. So I was kind of scrolling through my stash on Ravelry and trying to have a think of, do I have any other green yarn? Because I really, really, really did not want to go buy yarn for this project because I have so much yarn. It's kind of ridiculous. There's no reason that I shouldn't have enough yarn somewhere to make a baby sweater. So I was looking at a picture of a bag of yarn that my mom had given me, just random stuff that she got in a Knit Picks warehouse sale. So the Knit Picks warehouse is actually in the same city that I live in. And a couple years ago, they did a sale where they just kind of opened up their warehouse, and anything that was discontinued, stuff that had had the ball band taken off, books that were damaged, literally if they had like a little corner bent or a nick out of a page or something like that, they were just in just boxes everywhere, and you had to like dig through stuff. It was madness. I mean, complete madness. I did a blog post on it, so if you look at my blog, you can search for it. It was crazy. It brought out like the worst in people, and I think knitters are really okay, sorry. Clearly I get about 20 minutes of video out of my camera before I have to go and switch the card. So I went and transferred it to my computer, and I'm back. So as I was saying, I think knitters are awesome, but clearly wool fumes bring out the worst in knitters. So crazy. But gotta get all my stuff back on my lap. My mom had got a bunch of just a couple balls here and there of stuff, and in that bag of items there were these, which I think are a beautiful color. They're exactly what I was looking for. So this is Knit Picks Cotton in Key Lime, and it's a sport weight. There's about there's exactly 123 yards, 50 gram ball, so it's 70% Tankis cotton and 30% linen. Machine wash, tumble dry low, which is exactly what I wanted for my sister-in-law. And so I think I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to do the small thing sweater because this isn't enough. It's only enough to do the 3-month size, and I'm hesitant on that because I may not be able to get it to her in time for the 3-month size to fit, even though baby Ryan was very small. I don't want to count on that because I'd hate to knit something that you would only be able to wear for like a month or two. So I think what I'm going to do instead is the Morpheus sweater, and it is a top-down sweater with one side there's a button set so that you can make it go over babies' oversized heads, and then it has a fun kind of lace panel that goes down in a triangle, so it has a triangle lace in the front, and then you can either make it short or long sleeved. So I probably will make it short sleeved, and then I think it'll be a nice summer sweater, and then this cotton linen yarn will be perfect for a summery sweater. So I'm excited about that. I've been wanting to knit that sweater for a while, and I'm probably going to knit one for Joshua at some point as well, but I'm thinking maybe more towards winter, because it would be a good fall kind of transition-y piece. So it was fortuitous that I totally screwed up the small things sweater, and I'm going to move forward with my new plan. So hopefully by next week I'll have that on the needles and I'll be able to show you. And then I forgot a whip, so I have one last thing when we were camping, Maegwin was wearing her socks that I had knit for her quite a lot, and she was kind of running around without shoes on, with the socks on, and I, as a mean mommy, was telling her to put some shoes on, and I wasn't going to knit socks for her anymore if she didn't take care of them. And then when we got home, I was getting her ready to put her in the bath, and she said, "Well, be really careful taking off my socks, Mommy, because they're my favorite socks and I want to wear them all the time." So, of course, that's the best way to get to a knitter's heart, is to talk about the reason you're wearing them all the time like that is because you don't want to pry them off of your feet. So I said, okay, I'll knit you more socks. So I started a pair of socks for her. So these are just started. I'm going to make the Genevieve's tube socks. And that pattern was very sweetly gifted to me by Melinda, who's Yarnder Woman. And she said that maybe we could do a knit along for it. So it's this. It's a pattern by the Knitmore girls. And just a basic ribbed tube sock pattern. But I'm going to use the stitch pattern from the Blueberry Waffle socks on it. So I'll do the ribbing like it calls for, and then I'm going to do Blueberry Waffle sock pattern down the leg. And this yarn is left over from a pair of socks my mom made. So it's creatively dyed yarn in Calypso, which is one of her bases, and the colorway is native. You can see it had a huge amount of yardage. Oh, it's a scary Maegwin. She actually does not dye anymore. She stopped doing it, I think, a year or 2 years ago. I realized I put my glasses back on because I was looking at the computer. I don't need them because I can't see anything on the camera anyway. And I'll show you the ball because the little bit of sock I have doesn't really show it off. But it's really neat. She did a lot of speckled yarns, which I like. So this one kind of has some greens, blues, pops of orange and neon yellow, and then some speckly blue and orange as well. So let's see if my camera will focus. I don't know if it will. So it's really cool. I think they're going to be super neat, and there should be plenty here to make some tube socks for Maegwin, the scary snake. I see you. Do you want to pick something to share for your segment?
Sure.
Okay, you go find something to share. We'll see if she knocks the camera over because this is very precariously balanced on this basket. While she is picking out her item, I went downstairs and brought my zigzagular socks up. I have worn them. I have not washed them, so I apologize if they have any dog fur or person fur on them, but I am super thrilled with how they turned out, so here they are. There's my lovely cable going down to the foot, and it goes all the way down to the toe. They're ever so slightly different on the sock pattern or on the stripe sequence, but I don't care. They're knit in Patton's Croy stripes, and the colorway, okay, the colorway is Meadow Stripes. So last time you'll see them on the podcast. It was a really fun knit. I definitely will be knitting some more of these in the future, and I like the yarn as well. The yarn was a probably thicker fingering weight, maybe a little bit closer to sport weight. So these are really thick socks, but they'll be super cozy for camping. I'm excited to wear them more. So that is kind of everything I'm working on, everything I have been working on. And so I wanted to share with you a couple of things that I am thinking about spinning, because I need some advice. So I, many years ago, won some fiber in a spindle from Gaia's Colors Fiber Arts. She does not dye yarn anymore or fiber, but I didn't know how to spin at the time, and I was not really interested in learning, so I kind of set it aside and I put it in a Ziploc bag and kind of sucked the air out of it, which probably compressed this fiber. But now that I do spin, I actually would like to spin up this braid of fiber. It is merino, and we'll see if I haven't ruined it from the way that I stored it. But it didn't have anything on top of it, at least, so that's one positive. It's actually an 80-10-10, so it's an 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. It's 4 ounces. Here's the braid. It's these beautiful teals and browns and purple. Let me hold it back here. Gray, blue, like a bright blue, and a little bit of cream.
I've heard of bright blue before.
Yeah, you have heard of bright blue before. So I don't know how to spin out of a braid. I'm sure I can probably find... Okay, Maegwin, you need to go find your thing to share.
Yeah.
Free. So I have tried to spin merino on my drop spindle, and it was pure merino, so not superwash merino with cashmere and nylon. So maybe that will make a difference on the strength of the fiber. But I think my drop spindle is too heavy for that fiber.
I got it, Mom.
Okay, you figured out what you're gonna do? Okay, so here is what I had spun so far. It was a natural, undyed merino wool. And oh, okay. You can see.
My turn, my turn.
Hang on, be careful. It's scooch back, sweetie, because it's going to be out of focus.
But why are you using your camera?
Because the laptop is making things too blurry, and it doesn't have very good lighting. So when the sunlight's out, it doesn't show the sun very well. Okay, now you're in the camera. Bring it back here. Put it near your face, because it'll see your face. All right, so what are we seeing, Maegwin?
These.
What are those?
Cupcakes.
They're tiny cakes.
Uh-huh.
So upstairs
let
is
me
Maegwin's choking hazard place.
Let me tell them about
Please
it.
do tell them about it, Maegwin.
Well, these are my small, tiny cupcakes, and I like them a lot. I play with them a lot up here, because I can't bring them downstairs, and these are choking hazards. And one has a strawberry on top, and it's half red, half yellow, half brown. It has brown icing, and this one has no stripes. It's just bright brown and dark brown and white icing with a bit of fire on it, fire candles, and they're red. And this one has little brown icing bumps.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yummy.
And see these little plates they're on? I really like the plates they're on, because then I pretend they don't spill. And they have a few pink plates with shapes on them. And I sewed those too.
Okay, you can go get those. Just be careful not to bump the camera. Good job, sweetie. I've kind of made it a...
your segment while I'm gone.
All right, I'll work on my segment while you're gone. Okay, so I'm curious what weight of spindle that everybody uses for spinning merino, because it seems to be a really popular fiber, so a lot of people must spin it. So I'm in the market for a new spindle, and I want to know what weight I should be kind of aiming for. So I think this one is probably over an ounce, I would say. Gosh, I don't even know how much it weighs. It's a shocked spindle. So it's a good basic spindle. It served me well. I've spun CVM, I've spun Shetland, and I've spun BFL on it, and it's been fine. Okay, what are we looking at now, Maegwin?
This.
What is that?
It's my heart plate. It's pink. It has a heart on it, and see the little swirls? I like the heart. Want to see the back? The back is really nice, and do you like that? It's pretty pink on there, no pictures, but on this part, it looks like a little flower is holding the swirls and the heart.
Mm-hmm. It's a very nice design.
And it's round. Someone gave, Granny gave the set to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was on my set now. On Christmas, I think she gave it to me. I remember her giving it to me on Christmas.
It was Christmas. Very good memory. All right, sweetie.
And out there, I can barely see anything, but do you see that rainbow thing out there? The white thing?
Rainbow white thing? I don't see it.
Do you see the only white thing?
Nope.
It's near my swing. See it?
Oh, yeah, that's some plastic that we have to pick up. She's looking outside because the window is right next to us. So you can see kind of down into the yard and see all of the different stuff. All right, sweetie. Let me finish up my stuff. Thank you for showing our things.
But there's just... Hey, did you sew this?
I didn't show that. That's just been sitting here.
I still sewed.
Okay. Do you want to show it right now?
Yes.
Okay. Last thing. I will now show us one more thing. Okay.
This is my seal. It looks a bit sad, but I always play with it. And I always make it say.
Yep, and that is a seal fan.
And watch this.
Okay.
And do you see its tail?
Do you remember what those are called? The flippers?
Look.
The kitty. You better go get him. Go say hi to the kitty. We have an outside kitty.
You please. Show the rest of that.
Okay.
Quick.
All right. It's a beanie baby. Seal. All right. Yes. Cat. We have an outside cat that the neighbors have, but it's very friendly and it just kind of wanders around. My husband is allergic to cats, so we cannot have one, and Maegwin desperately wants one. So whenever the cat wanders through the yard, she goes out to say hi to it and follows it around for a little while in the yard till it moves on to the next yard. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. Spindle advice. Nope, it's down by the tree, honey. Near the wall. If you go down, you'll see it. Yep. So now you know how close it is out there. Yeah, so I'm thinking I need to find one that's less than an ounce. I was going to get the Trindle starter kit, but every time that I have money extra that I can buy one, they're out of stock. And then when I'm like, okay, I've kind of spent my fun budget for the month, then they come back in stock again. So I need to just put aside $50 and wait until there is one in the shop, because I do really want to get one of those. They are they have the shaft, which is different. He uses different kinds of reclaimed woods, and then it's got like a little ball that's, I think, some kind of either spongy or carbony type fiber. I can't remember exactly what it is. And then you can put arms in it, different interchangeable arms. I think Kristen on her podcast, the Yarngasm podcast, showed a mini Trindle a couple episodes back, and the arms come out, and then you can put different ones in, so you can actually modulate the weight. And I thought that might be a really good idea for me, because I don't know what weight is going to work best with different fibers. So then I could have, play around with different weights and see what works best for me. So I was excited about that. I'll get one eventually, maybe for Mother's Day. That will be my Mother's Day present to myself, because obviously my children are a little bit too young to really buy something for me, and we don't usually do presents for occasions in our household. We tend to be more kind of spontaneous surpriser type people. So anyway, we don't usually do like a formal Mother's Day. I will definitely do the, like last year I made a garden stone with Quikrete and mold, and then I had the kids put their handprints in it. So I have some from when Joshua was really little, and he hated it because he was only like a month old at that point, not even that, so he didn't know what the heck was going on. But it's really cute and special, and I'd like to have one kind of every year with the two of them together, so I can see as they grow, and eventually have like a pathway going through the garden with all of these different stones. And I'd like to do their footprints as well, and be able to look at those later. So anyway, the other thing that I'd like to spin, and this I think I can spin on my current spindle, is last year when I went to the Fiber Festival, I got some Rollags, and I've never spun Rollags before. I've spun Poonies and just combed top, but I haven't spun from Rollags. And there was one person in the entire festival that even had Rollags, and she said that she was trying out selling those preps. So it was from sheep from her mom's flock, and they are Lincolns. So it's Lincoln long wool, and it's from Ramblin' Rollags. So I got 4 ounces, and she put them in this lovely little cake box. So that's kind of nice. She threw in a couple of small Poonies too, so this is one. And I love the colors on this one. They're very pretty and different. And then my actual Rollags themselves are purple and gray, kind of. I mean, they're purple, but is the natural color of the Lincoln long wool in there. So they're nice and airy, which everybody says is what you want. So I might give those a go. I've only, up till now, I've only spun naturally colored wool. I have not spun dyed wool. But I've been watching the A Wee Bit Nitty podcast with Lena, who is Frukbadagak, I think. You can correct me, Lena, if I got the pronunciation wrong, but I'm trying. And I've been binge watching that podcast because I missed her invite, and I feel just terrible. She sent me an invite through my Ravelry email, and I didn't see it. I don't know why. It was in the fall when she started. And Lena, I'm so sorry. It wasn't out of not wanting to see your podcast, because I really enjoy it. I think you're hilarious. I love that she's kind of dry and but really funny at the same time. And I like that she doesn't kind of make it this big production as well. So I feel very much like I'm just sitting in a room talking with her. But I've been kind of watching as she goes on her spinning journey. So she just started drop spindling, and she kind of went all in and is just making beautiful yarns. I'm only on like episode 8, and just seeing the crazy improvement from what she said was her first effort, which I thought was really great yarn, up until what she's been making now. And like, I think she got an Ashford e-spinner somewhere in there. but it made me really want to improve my drop spindling and do more drop spindling. So she suggested getting, fiber in colors that you love to make you want to spin. So I think maybe I'll be more motivated if I use some colored fiber. So I do have, like I said, this stuff, which is really pretty, and that one MCN braid. Maegwin's calling me from downstairs. What is it, Mags? Oh, I see you. So I have those two different types of fiber. So I want to give it a go and see if these work out better for me. And so maybe I'll have something to show you next time on that. And maybe I'll get a Trindle before next time. We'll see if he restocks any in his shop. He's a teacher as well, so it's like his side business to make the spindles. But they're very well known and well reviewed and well liked. So if he puts more in, I will get one. And I have a ton of fiber that I have favorited on Etsy, so maybe I'll buy 1 or 2 different bats or mini bats. I haven't tried that prep, and I'll let you know. So maybe you can go on the spinning journey with me as well. And like I said, please do check out the A Wee Bit Nitty podcast. She is so fun. And now there are other people coming up. Hello. Was Daddy letting you in?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, I let in myself from the back door.
Oh.
And then
Okay.
he opened that door so I could get in and be with you again.
Oh, okay. All right. So all the kids are awake now, and I have some cleaning to do today. So I'm gonna sign off and go and do that. We also have errands to run, so
Look, Mommy.
I'm gonna do those as well.
I saw a heart.
Yeah.
What are these?
Those are felt hearts. I think Melissa Bear made those for us. They came in the package with Fluffy. Excuse me. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off.
What are they for, you know?
For hanging up like a banner.
Did you know it's Dad's birthday?
Okay, why don't you take those down to him? I'll be right down, sweetie. Okay.
Well, when
So
he opens the door and sees what I've done for him, he'll be
Yeah.
so surprised.
awesome. Okay, so I hope that you all have a great week. Happy knitting. And please leave feedback in the group if you think this is a good setup and the sound works for you and you feel like the picture is good, or any feedback you have. I would appreciate it. Oh my goodness, my loud children. Okay, so anyway, have a great week. Bye.